kids or something, man. You know, so, and it says, Ambassador said among the heathen, arise, and let us raise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen, that are greatly despised. You know, that's why everybody's waking up now. That's why the dollar's been dropped. That's why Putin was talking about the Chinese presidents came over here, and they're talking about handing the reins over to them. You know, the stuff is going down, man. It's downhill. China and Russia dropped the dollar. It's downhill, man. Your economy's finna be catching up real quick. A bag of rice is raising up to damn near $10 a bag, when it used to be like $2. Rice. You know, and that's me paying attention. If I had kids, I'd be worried right now, man, that all this food prices are going up to who knows where. And it says, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee. Thee that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks. And if you look up the word Caucasian, it means cave dweller. You know, you can see people going out, man. Now they be eating, man, and going to do. They out here, man, and people, when it says that he that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks and his habitation is high, that's a cave dweller. That's what you call a caveman back in the day. Because when we used to do research back in school, when they saw this caveman, they'd always be in high rocks, you know, high cliffs, and you know, they'd have to come down and hunt. You see them throwing stuff at the dinosaurs, all kind of stuff. I mean, whatever kind of the stuff they had us learning. But they had high habitations. So the book right here is referring to a certain people. So you just got to tie whose history ties with this, man. And it says, whose habitation is high, and say in their heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that goes back to Psalms 43. Psalms 49, and it says their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And then that's why you see here, and it says, thee thou dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitations is high, that saith in their heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So that's how you got to precept you and link it up, man. So you have a certain people to say that had a prideful heart. A very prideful heart that says, we gonna rule forever. We gonna have our big cars. We gonna have our nice houses. We gonna have all this. You gonna do all this evilness in the world and think the Most High is continue to bless that? That make him an evil man, wouldn't it? That make God an evil man if you see all this evilness going on and no one paid for it, right? Well, what is the point of people doing good? So there is a law, man. That's why you got to think it's gonna be paid for it. And it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And who symbols eagle, man? Who exalt themselves as the eagle. Though thou sayest, set thy nest among the stars. You got space stations. You got space observatories. You know, so how did the Bible know that there was going to be space observatories? That's how I want to know. This book written 2,000 years ago, and they know there's going to be space observatories. And it says, dost thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came unto thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen until they had enough? It is the great gatherers came to thee. Would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are the hidden things sought up? And that's why you have things like WikiLeaks. The WikiLeaks was the Most High that's putting that spirit on people just to pretty much tell. You got all these officials telling. I mean, even if it's they decided to let them out, they still letting out secrets that's hurting their image. You know, you have people in the country that's looking at it like, you guys were trying to spy on us. The UN's supposed to be a solo ground. How you say, equal ground, you know, and equal playing field. But still there, we're trying to spy on them. So that makes a lot of business with different people hard. You know, if you're trying to build up a relationship with people nationally, you can't give a bad name and try to spy on them. That's why you have all these WikiLeaks reports coming out, man. Your stuff is being sought out. And it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are the hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were peace with thee have deceived thee. So these alliances and stuff that you think you have, all them people are getting mad because they seeing as the horrible things you're doing. You know, if you're going to see somebody who's going to try to spy on you, you ain't going to want to go and shake their hands and be like, oh, we're cool, we're good. You know, what kind of thought is that? That don't make no sense. You can't have this evilness go on and people is going to accept you open-heartedly and want to do business with you. And you're dealing with nations that actually have pride amongst themselves, that have honor amongst themselves. They're not going to, your word means everything. When you hear somebody say that, you're dealing with Chinese people kill themselves for dishonoring them, you know, dishonoring their families and stuff. So you have deep honor, and when you word given, if you don't have that, they really can't do anything else with you. So that's what you got to think, though. And it says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and have prevailed against thee. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in the day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So in that day, he said he's going to take all your understanding, because he's going to blow your mind, man. When these chariots start coming out, when the chariots start coming, man, when all the stuff start going, your so-called thinking, man, is going to be blown out of the water. They're finding planets that didn't, what I learned in school, that did not exist. So really, things are changing day to day, man. Things and stuff is beautiful, really, when you see this stuff, because the limitations that has been set around you, you break your bonds, man. For someone to be out here and telling so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that they're the chosen people of the Most High, it's a beautiful thing. And to say that all you so-called Edomites, man, are going into slavery. That's the only, that's pretty much the what, and you can't have a problem with me, man. I didn't think of it in my house. It's what this book is saying. After you learn and you get into research, and this is what this book tells you. And it says, in the mighty man of Tashan, I'll skip down, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, because the 12 tribes of Israel are your brother. We are technically brothers. We're more brothers with the so-called with the Edomites than any other nation. You know, we're the same. We're cut from the same cloth, man. Different people were cut from the same cloth, and that's how you got to think. He says the violence against thy brother is what you're going to get punished mostly for. And it says, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame covered thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Forever. That's the Most High saying that he's going to cut a certain people off forever. He's not just taking it. These books is not for play, man. They're not something you sit up in your mantle and you have it sitting there and it's something good to look at. These are written instructions into prophecy and to tell you, because he said I come in the volumes of the book. You know, so these are prophecies. Those men wrote this down for us to learn today. And it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. And that's the 12 tribes of Israel. That's so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos, man. The same people you came over here, killed, took their land. Same people that was on the boats, so-called threw us to sharks. You know, we ain't sitting there, we ain't getting violent. You see all these Negroes getting up out here doing anything crazy to y'all? We ain't doing nothing. You know, we took our punishment like men, man, for real. Hung us on trees when we were free, supposedly. You know, this is the stuff from y'all history. You can Google this. This is nothing I'm telling strange, man. You can Google this. When you can Google some of this history, and it's so horrible, you don't even have to look that far, man. And the Most High already dotted it down before you even did it. And it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day thou stoodeth on the other side, in the day the strangers carried him away captive, his forces and foreigners entered into the gates, and that's when Jerusalem was sealed. When the siege of Jerusalem. When that happened, when the people was running off into the parts of Africa, you guys were cutting us off. You know, and this goes back to history. It's a history book. You was cutting us off, man, and putting us in the slave. You're giving us to the Arabs, man. That's what y'all was doing, and it's written down in history book. And it says, into the gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou wasted as one of them. You went into our home. You went into the city, You went into the city and you're there now. Amalek, you're there now. You're still there into the city of the Most High, man. And it says, but thou shouldest have not looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoices over the children of Judah in the city of their destruction. In the day of their Salaki, in the day of their destruction. Because the Most High said he was going to destroy us, put it at a low level. And y'all being our brother should have been there to somewhat help us, but you didn't. You took pride in that. You was happy when that happened. You know, so that's why the Most High is saying right here, this is what a part of your punishment and why your punishment you're getting. And it says, but thou shouldest have not looked upon the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest have not entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest have not looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. So right there the Most High is improvising. Y'all should not have done that, man. When we was at our bottom and at our low, y'all should have been our brothers and should have stayed there with us and helped us. But no, what did y'all do, man? You took pride in that, man, in our calamity. When we were sitting there at the bottom, y'all loved it. You took hand with it. You had a hand in doing it. You know what I'm saying? You looked at that and had pride in that, man. And that's a sad thing. That y'all could have probably took place in heaven, but nah, now y'all you have 1,000 years of slavery, and then you're going to be cut off after that. Forever. Okay, forever. And it says, substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should thou have stood in the crossways to cut off those of his that did escape. You know, so you guys cut us off and put us back into the captivity and gave us back to the people that we were running from. And it says, should have not an escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all heathen, as thou hast done. It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head, man. So people want to take like no one's going to get punished, no one's going to get nothing done to. Like people can go out and think that it's going to last forever, no one's going to get punished, man. That's cool, man. Keep thinking that. Because that day of the Lord is coming upon you like a thief of the night, man. It's going to come quick, man. So it's a horrible thing to sit there and be comfortable. You know, I see everything every day, man. I see everything that's going on every day. You know, with the birds dropping. I mean, when you're a watcher and you see this, you can only come out here and tell your people. It's like y'all don't see that coming.